What kind of a planner are you when it comes to your writing? Fiction writers talk about being plotters or pantsers. Pantsers write by the seat of their pants. Well, we all have different approaches to planning, and that might vary according to the project, too. There's no single right way to plan our writing and to outline things. However, each approach brings its own risks. So if you struggle sometimes with the planning part of a project or with coming up with an outline, here's a little advice, no matter what kind of planner you are. Are you a planning enthusiast? You love the planning part? Perhaps you love to go hang out in the stationery stores and look for more note cards and storyboards or sticky notes. You're always looking for the next system, the next tool, something to use to work on your next writing project. It's great to love planning. The danger is that you can love it too much. You can dedicate too much time to planning, even planning the planning, to those tools, and not enough time to the ideas that you want to be working on. This can be a great way to procrastinate and yet feel like you're doing something really important. So if this sounds like you, question whether you are in fact procrastinating. Give yourself a nudge to start working on the project, maybe before your plan is perfectly coordinated. Then there are people who are what I'll call planning perfectionists. They want to have every detail sorted out before they begin writing. Now, this kind of planning is great if you're working on something really critical, like an aircraft or a rocket. It's not always necessary or even useful in writing, because sometimes in the work, we learn things that we couldn't know before we were engaged in the writing. So if you are a planning perfectionist, you might be saying, I want to start writing, but I haven't done enough research, or I need to do more interviews, or I just don't think the plan is quite right yet. If you hear yourself saying those things, remember that sometimes the plan and the structure reveals itself in the writing. The best book outline is like a really good travel itinerary. It gets you where you need to go safely, gives you a place to stay so you're comfortable, gets you home safely and on time, but leaves a lot of room to explore, to find that new cafe or to hang out in a museum that really tickles your fancy. A writing outline is the same way. It should get you what you need to get started and yet leave you room to explore. Most of us tweak our outlines before our work is done. Then there are the people who would rather just let the words take them where they're going, write to explore. They take this discovery through writing to the other extreme and just bypass planning because it sounds, kind of boring. If that's you, there's a risk that you can get in trouble. You can write yourself into a corner. You can spend a lot of time on something that doesn't serve the reader or yourself. So for you, I would say remember this. Remember that planning is itself a creative act. It's an inherent part of the creative process. Even if you don't want to do a detailed outline before you start, remember you've got to keep asking yourself, does this serve the reader? I like to think of an impressionist painter putting the layers of paint on the canvas with tiny brushstrokes and then stepping back to see the effect. So planning is integrated in the creation process for this kind of work. And maybe that's how it works for you as well. But honor your reader, honor the work, honor your creative process by thinking about the plan, the outline, and the structure, as well as the words. I hope this helps you with any issues you may have with planning and outlining your writing, and let me know if it does.